everybody. For the first time in 29 years, Saturn, Lord Shani, will return to his own sign Capricorn on the 24th of Jan 2020. So in this video, I will analyze in great detail for you from your moon or ascendant sign how Saturn's transit will impact you way up until 2023. So if you are new to my channel, sub below and let's get started with some important details. Everybody, here are the dates. Saturn will enter Capricorn on the 24th of Jan 2020 and he will continue there until the end of April 2022. For a short period of 2 months though, Saturn will enter Aquarius, so be aware of these dates. And then from July 2022 right up until the 17th of Jan 2023, Saturn will be in Capricorn. How will Lord Shani influence us in his own powerful sign? He will certainly bring profit, success, power and ambition, but most of all, he will bring honourable actions. Before we start the readings though, please be careful that you read first of all, I would advise from your moon sign, which will give you the deepest and most impacting aspect because it affects more than our mind, it's our whole life on earth. And then of course add ascendant sign. If you are seeking additional in-depth information, add the D9 moon, which is very much concerned according to many sages with our destiny, and the D9 ascendant for how far we are following our dharma. So let's start with Aries sign. So for Aries moon and Aries Lagna, readings are more or less the same, but from the moon, some of the more difficult aspects, it has to be said, come into play. What's going to happen, Aries, is during the last 5 years or so, I would say, you've had a lot of dissatisfaction with your career, with your working life, and it's all going to come to a head in this 2.5 to 3 year period. There's many scenarios which can occur. One of the most prominent is that you just move on from a job which is unsatisfactory, but you find it difficult to find the right place. So when you do move, it doesn't work as well as you would like, but you feel the impetus to move on. Second scenario is that circumstances beyond your control take you away from that job and you lose a job through many circumstances. Third scenario is that you stay in that job but are dissatisfied. You can't gain promotion. Things are happening all around you which you cannot control, and you feel that you are losing your stake in your career situation. That's the key thing. But here's the golden lining to it all that I want you to be aware of. Shani will, after 2023, move into your 11th house from your moon or Lagna, where he will give you profit, success and a wonderful new career opportunity. So if you can, stay put, hang on in there and stay calm. Not the easiest thing, I know, for Aries moon or Lagna, because you always want to push and move and change things, but patience is the main quality here that Shani wants you to have. Aries, exploring the important aspects of Lord Shani for you. Lord Shani aspecting the 12th house, the 4th house and the 7th house have important indications. First of all, the 12th house, the 3rd aspect, is going to affect you as you turn inwards. This is all to do with the unsatisfactory working and career environment, which is forcing you to explore different options. But very often this can indeed take you to foreign lands. It can, however, cause you some health issues, particularly insomnia, all due to the agitation and feeling of insecurity which you may be feeling. But foreign lands are fated for you in a favourable way. There may be a move with this fourth house aspect also, but you must expect that any job situation which you start in this period will be up and down. It will not stabilize until Saturn moves into your 11th house, which is, as I say, after January 2023. So it's slow and steady, but if you do need to move abroad, it could be favored for you. On the whole, though, Saturn's seventh aspect on your fourth house is very powerful for home renovation, for all property issues, for repairs, for really getting to grips with the home situation in a positive way. In fact, I would say that's the area to put your positive energy into, because all of these frustrations are a bit out of your control, but here you can take more control in your home environment. The seventh aspect is not so much actually in regard to your personal relationships. Of course, there may be some stress in that relationship if the whole career situation is absolutely difficult for you, and that can have a knock-on effect on your intimate relationship. But mostly I haven't seen that. I've seen that this 10th aspect of Shani is about career, and therefore it's people in your working life who are going to cause you this distress. Very often a superior, but it can also be co-workers. So you have to be patient, Aries. You have to stick at it as much as you can with a positive and a constructive attitude. And after this period has finished, all of your ambitions are sure to be fulfilled. So for Taurus Moon and Taurus Lagna, Saturn has moved from your 8th house and your Astam Shani from your moon into your 9th house. This immediately gives you a feeling of relief, particularly from your moon sign, but also from your Lagna. That's because the 8th house Shani made you turn inward and away from all the everyday and endeavors, practical endeavors which you enjoy to keep on top of. Things had been seeming out of control for the last 2.5 years for Taurus. Now they will stabilize. Saturn is your Yoga Karka planet. He rules your 9th house and your 10th house. Therefore, for you, Taurus, he's a very auspicious graha. And so now, in the aspects here, for your ascendant and your moon sign, he will actually do very positive things, but you shouldn't expect things to happen overnight. Saturn will still give some delays, and the main delays will be in travel. That's because of Shani's aspect on your 3rd house and being in your 9th house. So any foreign endeavors may be delayed during this time, and short distance travel also may be slightly difficult for you. So it's a time for staying put, putting down your roots and traveling in your mind, if you like, because education is highly favored. And any delays which you may have had in your education last year because of the aspect to your 5th house will completely vanish now, and all students will do very well in this 2.5 year period. The main thing is, though, that Saturn aspects your 11th house very strongly with his 3rd aspect. This has some interesting consequences. First of all, you will find a very close friend in this period, a very good companion who will be very much like a soulmate to you. That's because Saturn's aspect on this house, Pisces, is a favorable one, as you are in tune with this steadying influence. Saturn's influence on your assets also means a steady growth. As I say, not overnight, it's going to happen very, very slowly, but you are going to have an increase in your ability to earn. And that, Taurus, will be a huge relief to you, because in the last 2.5 years, there have been enormous changes and enormous instability in your career. Saturn's 10th aspect is on your 6th house. Now, this has another favorable side. That's because any concerns with your health will be calmed down now and stabilized. And again, any concerns with your co workers and your whole working environment will be stabilized. So, it's a very stable 2.5 years for Taurus. It's a very good relief for you, but it's all about taking your time now to find your correct path ahead. As I say, the best news is a very special friend and great relief with your health. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you. So, for Gemini Moon and Gemini Lagna, Shani is entering into your 8th house. People get worried about this, particularly from the moon. As you may know, it is called Astam Shani, which is similar to Sade Sati. However, do not be afraid because Saturn is strong in his own sign. And in the house of longevity, he protects you, actually. But it has to be said that from your moon or your lagna, there may be sudden upsetting events, particularly around your health. There may be some accidents, and there may even, at the worst case, have to be some surgery. But even if that does happen, do not fear. Shani will protect you, and the outcome will be very, very favorable. So, it's very much about staying calm and patient and focused during this 2.5 to 3 year period, because a lot of outer influence is denied to you, it has to be said, particularly in your career. You're going to become worried and concerned because you are losing control in this 10th house area. Do not be afraid, because you are actually finding what is the correct place for you as Saturn moves up to the top of your chart during the next 5 or 6 years. So you may have stresses in your whole career environment, but stay calm and stay patient and things will work out. Certainly, it's a very hard working 2.5 years. Your financial situation will undergo stresses and family life will be impacted too. But by steadiness and by being very open with all family members, there will be good outcome in the end, okay? Because Saturn is strong. The most difficult aspect, though, is probably on your 5th house, because that's the 10th aspect of Shani here. So there can be serious misunderstandings with a child, or maybe more than one child, but certainly one child. These will cause you a lot of distress and concern, but don't worry. Again, they will actually calm down over this period, because again, Saturn is so strong in his own sign that if you cultivate Saturnine qualities as patience and being completely open and completely honest and completely ethical in every area of your life, everything calms down over time. Okay, but sudden events may occur. In regard to education, it's a very strong aspect here, so be cautious. If you are a student, this 2.5 to 3 years, it has to be said, will be a bit trying for you. You will find it hard to study, hard to maintain concentration, and you may even think that you're on the wrong course. The answer is you're not. You're not on the wrong course. You're just finding it heavy going. So stay with it. And I promise you, when Saturn moves into your 9th house, okay, which is from 2023 January, your education will smooth out and become vastly successful for you. So hold on in there, Gemini. It's a very trying time up and down, but you gain enormous strength from this Shani. And the most positive aspects are really around study and research, which you do on your own. Secret research, secret study. particularly around occult, astrology, and hidden knowledge. This becomes very beneficial for you. And if you are in any way working in research where you need to be alone and doing that sort of job, then for you, it's an extremely favorable time. Final thing, Gemini, very important to remind you, is that Jupiter is in your 7th house, angular, and very favorable for you in his own sign for most of 2020. Therefore, some of the difficult aspects of this shani won't manifest until probably 2021. So it cuts down that period of stress for you. So stay optimistic, stay focused, stay hard working, and things will be fine. So for Cancer Moon and Cancer Lagna, Lord Shani Saturn is entering your 7th house, Kendra house, angular house. Very, very strong placement for Lord Shani. But do not be fearful, thinking that you're going to lose a relationship. In fact, Saturn often has the opposite impact here. Let's talk about relationships carefully here. If you are single and looking for a new relationship or are thinking of getting married soon, Saturn can have a delaying impact. It has to be said. Very often there are obstacles or delays, but because Saturn is strong in his own sign, they will be easily overcome. So do not be afraid of this. Saturn is impacting all situations for a benefic effect in his own sign. So even if there are delays, they will be for the good long term. If you are seeking to find a new partner, again, the same situation. It won't happen easily. You may have to search for longer, and somebody who you thought was the right partner will turn out to be not the right person, and so you may feel some sense of disappointment there. But it will all be for the good, because Saturn will bring you a mature, sensible, cooperative, caring, and very practical partner into your life in this period. So Saturn can bring soulmate relationships in his own sign without doubt. So expect that it will be a good time for starting a new relationship, but you have to take it slow. Take slow steps to get to know each other. If you rush in, it won't work and it will just explode. So it's about careful consideration and due caution, and then getting to know somebody thoroughly. You can find an absolute soulmate connection in this period. It's very auspicious for starting a new home also together. If you are in a relationship, it has a different impact. Saturn can, however, cause some distance between you, some feeling of not being as open with each other as you have been. But it is not an indication of divorce and separation, not unless there has been ongoing issues for a long time. Saturn on its own in your 7th house wants to make you steady, doesn't want to separate you, doesn't want divorce at all. Saturn is there for the long haul. Saturn wants permanence. Saturn wants a long time permanent situation wherever he is. So he wants to bind you together, and your sense of duty becomes very strong. But the problem can be, Cancer, that you hide aspects of your own feelings. So if you are starting to feel dissatisfied with your mate, it's very important, Cancer, that you are very open and honest about it. Not that you are ever dishonest, but you do tend to hide your feelings, don't you? You don't like confrontation at all. It really upsets you deeply. But you are going to have to dare to be more honest. If you do that, Saturn wants honesty. Saturn wants openness, and he wants that to happen. So if you go for that route, even though it's hard for you, situations can calm down in your relationships for the good. Now, looking at the aspects of Lord Shani here, on the 9th house, there will be some difficulties in any foreign endeavors. If you've been thinking of any move to any foreign situation, it will have to be delayed. Education is going to be a bit worrisome too, particularly higher education. But because Saturn is so strong in his own sign, even though there are delays, there will be success in education. Saturn's seventh aspect is the most important here, on you, on your body, on your health. Be very cautious with your health during this 2.5 to 3 year period. Not that anything untoward is going to happen, but that Saturn is going to make you more health conscious, turning you inwards to your diet, to your exercise, and giving you a real feeling of discipline. Now, you can be very disciplined, Cancer, but sometimes you fall off the fall off that track, okay? And Saturn here is really going to focus you on a very disciplined health regime. But take care of your health. The most important impact on your health is hidden emotions, keeping your feelings inside, where they eat at you inside and make you feel low and very depressed. So keep your optimism high. Stay focused on openness and honesty in your relationships, and you can avoid some of those low mood times of which you are very prone in any case. In your home life, there may be many disturbances now, many aspects of your home may require an enormous amount of attention from you. So there may be things like renovations, repairs that may be costly and take your time and patience to see to. But on the whole, this seventh house is stabilizing your life, even though it seems to be causing you some distress in relationships for a short time. As I say, these relationship issues will work out and you will absolutely find a stronger bond with your partner. So, for Leo Moon and Leo Lagna, Shani in your sixth house is enormously favourable. This is a blessing house for Lord Shani indeed, particularly from your moon, it has to be said. It's a particularly strong blessing indication. What tends to happen now is that Saturn is going to stabilize health issues first and foremost. He's going to make your health a lot stronger. You are going to find huge relief from ongoing issues, and certainly you're going to have all the right medication and all the right help that you perhaps didn't have before. So first and foremost, very good for your health. Second issue is in this whole time period, any disputes, any litigations that may be ongoing or may be fresh will always work in your favour. You will have to show a lot of restraint and patience, but in the end, you will always come out on top. Third aspect, and I've often seen this, is in your relationship concerns, and that's because of Saturn's seventh aspect on secret enemies, which is 6 from your seventh house here. If there are any secret difficulties in your relationships, if there are people trying to trouble your relationships, you will defeat them. You will defeat anybody who is there to harm your relationship. And therefore, your relationship, and that is a business relationship or spousal relationship, becomes strengthened in this 2.5 year period. So there's a lot of strength and there's a lot of stabilization for you here. Finally, must consider the aspects here, Leo, to give you more detail in this reading. Shani's aspect on your 8th house definitely gives you a good deal of positivity in regard to inheritances, wills and testimonies, and any disputes, though there may be delays, will work out in your favour. Onto your 12th house, foreign travel is enormously beneficial for you in this period. And the 3rd house aspected here also gives you stabilization in your family. New family members that you, well, not new family, but family members that you haven't seen for a long time will re-enter your life and be beneficial for you. Particularly sibling concerns will stabilize and become more harmonious. In your working environment too, because Saturn is about co-workers, you will be much happier, absolutely feeling that you are part of a team moving forward, and you will be respected by all superiors. So it's a very, very good time for moving ahead in your working life. Education is also strongly impacted in a favorable way. And if you are in any sort of business relationship, expect that that will also be benefited, particularly from travel. Short distance travel will increase in this period, but will benefit you financially and career wise. So, a very successful and stable period for you, Leo. So, for Virgo Moon and Virgo Lagna, it's exactly the same for both readings in this case. Virgo, Saturn is moving from the difficult, dire period where he has been for 2.5 years in a crucially challenging position into your fifth house. Immediately, this will give you some relief. But the main thing is that Saturn has very strong aspects on your seventh house of relationships, 11th house of larger groups and goals, and your second house of family. So there will continue to be some of the issues which you felt over the last 2.5 years continuing. But the main thing is that it puts a great deal of pressure on you now to resolve them. Okay, before it was very much about sticking with things and sticking them out. Now it's about resolution. Saturn in the fifth house, very strong aspect on your seventh house, will create some romantic relationship problems. It has to be said. But you are the one who are going to have to take responsibility for settling them. That's the key thing. It will also have an impact on your feeling of belonging in larger organizations. You will have conflicts within larger groups too. And again, the whole emphasis will be on you sorting them out and taking responsibility. In regard to your family concerns too, they will continue to be a bit trying to you as they've been for the last 2.5 years, and financial issues will become paramount. There will be an absolute need to stabilize financially now, which may include many cutbacks too. Now, on the favourable side, funnily enough, Saturn in your fifth house is not unfavourable for children. It only means that there is a real need to stabilise your relationship with children. That means that you have to spend more time with them, that your duty towards them becomes paramount now. Yes, there may be some niggling issues with children. There may be one child who causes you some distress, but on the whole, your whole energy goes into stabilizing this area of your life. And if you are now wanting to have children, there will absolutely be some delays, but long term, Saturn strong in his own sign will give you success in that area. Okay, so Saturn never denies, he just delays things. As regards to your creativity, if you are absolutely, and very often you are creative, Virgo, particularly with words and particularly in occupations like journalism, then you are going to have some issues finding your flow. Saturn will slow you down. And you may begin to think, have you lost your talent? Have you lost your ability? No, you haven't. Saturn is turning you onto more serious ideas now, and your whole mindset will be about responsibility and serious concerns, particularly with this 11th house aspect in politics. If you are involved in any sort of larger organization that has a political aspect to it, it becomes crucial to you now. It's like you become obsessed with this particular area of your life as you try to stabilize concerns. And there will be many conflicts within these organizations too. So it's an uppity time for you, Virgo Moon and Virgo Lyhane. It's a bit of a tricky time to negotiate well, but the key thing is taking the utmost responsibility yourself for stabilizing things, and that will make it successful for you. So, Libra, from your moon and ascendant, there are slightly different readings here. From your moon sign, it's a similar intensity to a Sadi Sati period. I know you've just had Sadi Sati and it feels like, oh no, not again, but don't fear. It's a Saturn dire period when things get shaken up a little bit but smooth out fast. So, you've just got to go through this shaking up period. From your Lagna, it's similar but not as intense. So from the moon sign, it particularly impacts relationships and domestic situation, causing upsets and conflicts and arguments. One of the issues is that you become very intense in your career in this time. There are such a lot of concerns in your working life in this 2.5 to 3 year period, Libra, that it takes over your whole consciousness and your home life becomes neglected. So you need to find balance there. Okay, particularly from the moon sign, it's going to impact your health. So be very careful about stresses and strains having an impact. It's all to do with not being balanced and being too focused on your working career, and this can have a negative impact on your health through stress. Okay, now for the rest of this reading, it's equal for the ascendant and the moon sign. So what you're going to find is that you are putting such an emphasis on your career that everything becomes destabilized. And the biggest impact is, though, health issues, because the first house and the sixth house are both equally impacted. The most important thing is to gain relaxation. And the easiest way is to find comfort in your home life rather than in your career life. You are running away from difficult situations in your home during this period. And if you go with Lord Shani in your fourth house and you put an emphasis on those home situations, you will have more cooperation with your spouse and with your partner, and things will work out. There will be concerns with your home in terms of structural issues, and all sorts of real estate issues will have delays. So if you are in any way connected to property issues as a working environment, it can become really acute now. The main thing is to stay calm during this period. Saturn makes you feel that things have gone out of control when they haven't. Why? Because Saturn is strong in his own sign. So even though normally Saturn fourth house, particularly from the moon, as I say, can be stressful health-wise and very stressful for your domestic peace, Saturn here, if you find that balance, Libra, if you don't become so work dominated during this 2.5 to 3 year period and put enough time into your family and home life, you will find that things stabilize. And towards the end of this period, things are much healthier and much happier for you in your home life. Sometimes there is a need to relocate. Very often Saturn gives you the need to find a more suitable home environment. Very often this is to do with your working life leading that. But again, there will be delays and it won't happen overnight. So it's a bit of a slowdown in actually, Libra. It's been such a favourable time for you in the last 2.5 to 3 years. You've had Jupiter and Saturn working in your favour to smooth things out and bring in a very exciting, positive, successful time for you. Now it's becoming that you really have to slow down, find a balance, and work harder than before. So don't give up, Libra. Even if there are stresses, even if there are strains, you you can absolutely cope with this by finding balance and giving attention to all areas of your life, particularly health and home environment. So for Scorpio Moon and Scorpio Lagna, Lord Shani is entering the third house of your chart. This is a supremely auspicious house. Particularly from your moon, it's the most auspicious, but from the Lagna, it is auspicious also. So everything that I'm going to talk about happens from both points of view. But from the moon, it has to be said, you have come out of Sadi Sati from the 24th of Jan 2020 Scorpio. So wow, you're going to feel it straight away, a feeling of less stress and a feeling of freedom and relief. But for everybody, Saturn in your third house gives you real opportunities. That's the greatest blessing in this 2.5 to 3 year period. Opportunities in any area that you are looking into, particularly creative endeavors, particularly job opportunities, and education expands for you. So those roadblocks that had been there in your 7.5 year Sadi Sati from the moon will disappear. You feel a real feeling of freedom, of coming into your own, of being able to relax and do what you really want to do. That's the freedom of Saturn in the third house. The third house is about ego, about being you, doing what feels right for you. So any job that comes into your life, any sort of education that you do, you will feel immediately, this is me. I'm on the right education course. I'm in the right job. I'm at home. You feel settled and secure, and that feeling helps you to make enormous progress in this period. The other beneficial aspects here are on the fifth house of children. If there have been any long-term issues with not being able to conceive, you will be able to during this 2.5 year period. If there have been issues with a child, they will slowly smooth out. And they will smooth out actually, Scorpio, because you have become less stressed. It has to be said. And as you de-stress and find more freedom in your life, all your relationships with your children will be settled and far more constructive. You may have foreign travel and it will be very successful for you from the 9th house and the 12th house being impacted here. Your spiritual life will grow in a tremendous way. You will find new insights, new truth, and become deeply, deeply concerned with finding spiritual sustenance, and it will be favorable for you also. All of your health concerns will enormously improve. You will not be troubled by many long-term niggling issues, okay? And your career, as I've already indicated, is so beneficial in every way now. You will find that no door is blocked to you, Scorpio, so start knocking. Don't be afraid. Scorpio, you tend to be a bit cautious. Now is the time to put caution to the wind and to move forward with strength and confidence in yourself, because, as I say, all doors are absolutely open to you now. So, Sagittarius Lagna and Sagittarius Moon. This is quite a big momentous event in your life now. Shani moving into the second house of your chart is actually the third phase of Sadi Sati from your moon. And I just want to talk about that first, and then I will go on to joint indications. So, from your moon sign, Saturn here is starting to stabilize things that have become unstable during this Sadi Sati. It's a tremendously hard working time. It affects you in large organizations also. You are finding success though, because Saturn is strong in his own sign. But there may be big domestic issues for you as you strive for outer success and climb up that ladder now, and your hard work pays off. there may be issues in your home life which need some sort of attention. So relationships become strained for you in this period from your moon, and this may affect your finances also, particularly if they are shared. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a complete relationship breakdown, but there is need for more open communication for sure. So now indications from the Lyhane and the moon equally. Saturn in your second house will stabilize financial issues for sure, but it will require some joint concerns to come under control, and this may cause you a little bit of contention. It's a very good time though to write a will and to put anything into writing that makes you feel that you've settled things and have things securely sorted out. As I say, home life is going to be a bit contentious now. There can be a myriad of circumstances here. All depends on your own grahas in your fourth house. But in general, though, there may be a move. You may need to relocate for your career, or you may be forced to by concerns in your family environment. But more than anything else, you are putting so much emphasis on your outer life now that you need to spend a little bit more time at home than you would like to during this period. Foreign travel, moving, anything which is uplifting to you as a Sagittarian could be favorable, but the whole upheaval of your domestic situation is not really what you're ready for now. So you have to spend some time paying attention to house and home issues. They may have got out of control with Saturn being in your first house and giving you such a tremendously hard working time that you have probably, Sagittarius, hardly been at home at all, and that will probably continue now, but these issues will become absolutely predominant and need to be sorted out. But the most important and exciting aspect here is the 10th aspect on your 11th house of assets and gain in your career. You will have an increase slowly but surely, which will help to stabilize any of those concerns I was just talking about. But most importantly, your status will soar. You are going to find by Saturn's stabilizing influence in his own sign that people are continuing to look favorably on you. Now, the only negative thing is that it may cause a little bit of jealousy in some quarters, okay? And that's because of Saturn's 7th aspect on your 8th house there, because people who are not openly opposing you may oppose you. But don't be afraid of that, because Jupiter is still in your first house for most of 2020, Sagittarius. Be optimistic, be forward looking. As I say, if you need to relocate, you need to relocate. You are going to go up that steady ladder during this 2.5 year period, and this may be one of the most successful and prominent times in your whole career. So you need to be confident in yourself and go for every door that opens. It will be hard work though. That's the only downer. There will be no letting up in the constant need for hard work. For Capricorn Moon and Capricorn Lagna, there is a lot in common with this, but for the moon sign, I just want to make some important points now. This is a crucial part of your Sadi 2.5 to 3 year period when Saturn is now on your moon. You've been feeling unsteady during the last 2.5 to 3 years when Saturn has been 12th from your moon. Do you move? Do you stay? Do you change job? What do you do? It's all going to come to a head now as Saturn comes on your moon sign. There will be changes from your moon sign in your personal relationships and in your career first and foremost, but they can be positive because Saturn is strong in his own sign. He won't allow you to upset the cart, and other people in the end have a great deal of respect for your sense of duty and responsibility. So from your moon sign, it's very intense now. It's around female figures, mother figures, and also some concerns with your health as well. Be very cautious with your health from the moon sign. Be very careful to take enough relaxation and time to yourself, because you are so driven in your career path in this period that you are overdoing it in every way. So you need to calm down and take care of your health, Capricorn moon. Now, from the moon and the Lagna, these are the indications. So from the moon and the Lagna now, Saturn's aspect on your third house can give, during this 2.5 to 3 year period, real conflicts with your siblings. Be calm about this, because Saturn is strong in his own sign, and with patience on your side, these will become resolved. Concerns with family can become dramatic now, and there may be much short distance travel. As I say, for the moon sign, it's particularly around female relatives and your mother maybe also. From your ascendant, though, you are very strong in yourself now and very grounded, as your ruler of the whole chart has come home to roost in your own first house. So you are feeling a new sense of purpose, a new sense of direction now. For the Lagna and the moon, relationship issues are going to become huge in this 2.5 year period. There are many scenarios, all depends on the other grahas involved in your personal chart, but on the whole, you will be seeking stabilization in any new relationships. You will absolutely want to find stability now, and Saturn will be favorable for that stability. But if there is any conflict, any sense that you are going in a different direction to a partner, it could mean a split in that particular relationship, but it will only be for your good. If you are seeking a new relationship now, it's very possible it will happen in this 2.5 to 3 year period, but there will be delays. Absolutely, there will be some delays, and you will find yourself attracted to a completely different sort of person. This is the strongest indication now. If you are seeking a new relationship, you will find yourself ditching your old concerns about what you want a relationship to be. You're becoming much more traditional, much more concerned with stability and duty and responsibility. You are very much attracted to older people, wiser people maybe, and people who may already actually have been married before, very possible. Also, people who can give you stability and a feeling of comfort straight away, that you feel you belong. Very often Capricorn is absolutely concerned with status in a relationship. So you are very much looking for somebody who has status and stability in their own life, and you will find that there's a very strong chance of a new relationship taking off, but in a slow and steady way. You must take it slow. If you try to rush, which is unlikely, but depending on the other grahas in your chart, you may try to rush into something. Don't do that. Take it slowly and cautiously, and a real bond can develop with a new relationship. As I say, very often with somebody dramatically different to who you would have normally been attracted to. In any steady existing relationship, it's about open and honest communication at all times to stabilize any differences that may occur. Finally, Capricorn, your career, as I say, is going to demand an enormous amount of attention now from your moon and from your Lagna. You're going to be working at a tremendously hard rate. However, there is this. You may feel that now you know what you really want in your life. You may feel like retiring from this current situation. It doesn't really matter sort of how old you are. If you are coming to retirement age, there's a very strong indication now is the time when you will retire. But if you are not at that age, you may decide to take a big leap into a whole new career, and it can be favorable for you, but it will take time to develop. So stay steady, stay sure, watch your health, and be purposeful, and things can work out very favorable for you now from your moon and from your lagna. So for Aquarius moon and Aquarius lagna, Shani is moving into the 12th house of your chart, the secretive and intense time in your life, particularly from your moon starting Sadi is now beginning, but the readings are more or less the same. Aquarius, you've had an intense time of career success, absolute prominence in large organizations. You've gained enormous status and success during the last 5 years, particularly 2.5 years, and you are on a roll. You have gained such prominence and success that you've forgotten who you are. That's the message from Lord Shani now. From the beginning, from the end of Jan 2020 onwards, a little voice in your head, Aquarius, will say, hold on, this isn't who I am completely. There are other aspects of my life that I have neglected. And you will start to slowly turn inwards. Why? Because conflicts will develop with your co-workers. Right away in this particular time period, you will start to feel that people who you thought were on your side are not on your side. Niggling health issues also may develop. But if you get on top of them, Aquarius, as soon as you can contain them. Areas of concern may be moon-led issues such as your digestion and your intestines and everything that is affected easily by stress. And you have been in a very high intense period, so stress has taken its toll on your body whether you know or not. So getting on top of it, having a health check now is very important so that you can contain any issues. And the good news is that Saturn is so strong in his own sign that you will contain these health issues, so have no fear. The main thing is that you need to de-stress. The biggest message of Saturn moving into the 12th house is get away from it all, Aquarius. You need to simply escape into foreign lands if you can on a quiet, relaxing and contemplative holiday. If you can get into spiritual pursuits, as the 10th aspect will indicate, you are very likely to find new truths and huge sustenance in your religion now. And you may be surprised by this. Very often this will come as a big surprise because you are a very outward orientated sign. You're very concerned with society and putting things right in society. But you absolutely, very often, absolutely put aside your own inner spiritual life, and you need to get to grips with that now. The 10th aspect here, as I say, on your 9th house gives you huge success in foreign lands, and you may decide to relocate. That's a very strong indication also. But even if you don't, you will find much relief by getting away from your current stressful situation, particularly in your working environment. There will be issues with your finances, but only so far as they need stabilizing. Family concerns also may become more predominant in this 2.5 to 3 year period. But Aquarius, it's all about slowing down. It has to be said. The biggest message of Saturn in your 12th house, either from your Lagna or your moon starting Sati is to slow down. You have been pushing yourself beyond all measures now to achieve success, and you have achieved success and a very high status. If you are not at that age, then you've had a very good educational time. You've been moving up that educational ladder very successfully, but you've been neglecting your inner self. So to contain the health issues and to contain a sense of family harmony, you need to take relaxation time, meditation time. And the most important aspect, though, which I haven't mentioned, is finding a new goal for yourself. Saturn is coming into your first house in the next 5 years. So this will reorientate your life. If you are in Sati, it may be the most hard-working time of your entire life, and you may have a further impact on your status. But if you don't take care of this 2.5 year time to find some method of relaxation and de-stressing, it can be negative rather than positive. So take a bit of time to yourself. Take a bit of relaxation, meditation, and turn inwards to find sustenance. A final thing is that Saturn in this house may lead you to find a new guru also because of the ninth house aspect. And when you find this new spiritual outlook, all of your material life will benefit. And so all of the family financial issues will dissipate by this inner sense of strength and happiness. So it's a new turn in your life, Aquarius. You've been so outwardly dominated for so long now that Shani is going to put a hold on things to turn you inwards. Don't be afraid of it. You won't lose your status. You won't lose your job. You won't lose huge amounts of money either. All these things remain stable for you, but you just need some time to turn inwards and find spiritual sustenance now. For Pisces Moon and Pisces Lagna, Shani moving into the 11th house of your chart is a supreme blessing position. Particularly from your moon, this is so, but also from your Lagna. Shani becomes stabilized in the 11th house, and particularly in his own sign, it is such a superb indication. The first indication I would say is that your career takes off. Where you have been through maybe job loss recently is a very strong indication that has occurred, or there's been such a stagnation in your career, it will all change. Things will move forward in a very swift way. Superiors will look on you with such favor now. One of the indications is that your confidence by the third aspect will increase. You will be much more disciplined, much more stable and confident in your own abilities now. The fifth house impacted here will have a very favorable impact also on your children. Any misunderstandings will evaporate. If you are looking to start a family, there could be no better time. And this difficult 8th house of shared concerns, finances, this will also stabilize now. So in every way, you are finding stability in your personal relationships. All the disputes and concerns that have been on your mind over the last 2.5 years will evaporate again. People and your spouse and friendships become far more favorable to your concerns, and you are feeling happier and more content on every level. One of the most auspicious aspects is, however, Pisces, on your income. There will be a slow and steady increase in income now. There may be a big promotion coming in which there is a huge increase because Saturn can give that, all to do with your hard past work. So, but either way, if it's slow or immediate, you will have an increase in your assets and your income absolutely in this next 2.5 to 3 year period. And one final thing that can be seen from this Saturn is that if you are looking for a new relationship, Saturn will bring you somebody very special into your life. That's because Saturn is in the 11th house of hopes and is actually concerned with deep friendships also. So if you find a new partner, which is very likely now, they will be a deep soulmate. You will have such a lot in common with them. It will seem like you are looking at yourself almost, but in a very constructive way. You will feel a deep sense of inner connection, and they will also become a lifelong friend to you more than just a partner. And if you are indeed feeling lonely and feeling down, or in any way feeling that you are out on a limb, Pisces, new steady friends will enter your life also. So all in all, it's one of the most auspicious periods. So no holds barred. Have confidence in yourself, and things are supremely auspicious for you in this time period. So sub to my channel if you are new here. God bless everybody, and I'll be back soon with more videos on Vedic astrology. Goodbye for now.